Good morning. Let's start with a standing pose. We're going to start with standing at attention. It's kind of a version of mountain pose. So start with your feet, and then we'll start practicing our breathing in a moment. So with your feet, the idea is that you want to have them as long as possible. So start with your heel and kind of pull it forward, and then spread your toes out. All right. Then have your knees straight, but just a little soft. Then roll your hips a little bottom forward. So you're kind of tucking in your butt just a little bit. Roll your shoulders back just a little. And then plop your 12-pound skull on top of your shoulders. So if you were closing your eyes, you could imagine yourself as straight as possible. Doesn't matter if you are actually straight, but you can imagine yourself straight. All right, then take your hand, one of your hands, put your belly button in your belly button in your thumb, your thumb in your belly button, and then your hand underneath. And this is start practicing your breathing now. So with your mouth, lips closed through your nose. The goal is to push out your hand and then let it all relax. And I find that the relaxing part is really challenging. I feel like you kind of force it out. You don't feel like you get enough breath in. Let's do a couple more of these. All right, now let's get your hands on your side. And we're going to be a little teapot. And let's just lean over from your hip. You can lean over to the left, but it doesn't matter. And then when you get yourself leaned over as much as you can, now push that hip out. So you should feel this all in my right side. There's a little spot in my hip. There's kind of on the adductor side. All right, now find your breath again. If you need to put your belly button in your thumb again. I am easily amused. Good, now bring it back in, inhale, and now do the other side. It might feel very different, but pay attention to it. So let's push your hip out and lean. Let's pay attention to the differences. Come on back. Now, inhale, bring your arms up overhead. And now we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to lean over to the left, stick your hips out to the right, and try to breathe into your right lung, the right rib cage. Inhale and come back a little bit. Exhale and come out. If you want to, you can grab a hold of your right wrist with your left hand. That kind of helps just pull it over a little bit. You're not really trying to like wrench it. You're just trying to help keep your arms straight mostly. Inhale, up. So the idea is to move with your breathing and breathe with your movement. And we've said that before, but the idea is that it's kind of symbiotic and that it helps you remember to breathe. But the breathing also helps the movement. All right, let's go to the other side. Just switch wrists if you're holding onto your wrist. I often need a reminder to breathe because you sometimes start to hold your breath unconsciously. And the movement kind of like, oh yeah. And then likewise, the breathing helps you get a little bit deeper into the poses. So we are going to do some sun salutations just to get warmed up. And end up doing some lunges and working on hip mobility, but then also doing some lizard twists. And then we'll do a couple of warrior one sequences to, again, work on hip twisting and spine twisting. And that's our practice this morning. Good. All right, come on back, inhale. We'll come on down to a forward fold, which may be very, very slow this morning. And just slowly let yourself come down. Inhale, come up a little bit, lift your torso up. And then exhale, down. Inhale, up just a little, and exhale, down. It always just is a wonderful little reminder of when this progressive movement works. You know, when you start stiff as a board, not feeling like you can move, but then you just keep breathing and exhaling, and inhaling and exhaling. And eventually I'm coming down to be able to touch the ground. All right, let's come down, and inhale into a half lift. Exhale, bring your hands to the mat, and we'll come back into a plank for just a moment. Inhale, and then exhale back into a downward dog. And now, that was kind of just a warm-up salutation. Inhale and come down on one heel on the exhale. Inhale and exhale on the other heel. Inhale, look at the top of the mat, walk your feet forward. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, a little forward fold. Inhale all the way up. And then all the way down. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. This time, just bring your right foot back. We're just going to hold this. Like, let's drop our knee. And we're going to have both hands inside of our knee if we can, or on your knuckles, or on a book, or whatever it needs to be. Even if you don't have your back leg very far back, you're pretty. Then the inhale is bringing your hips back. Exhale, bringing them forward. And I'm going to turn back where I was. Inhale back, and exhale forward. Good. Get your hands back on the mat, left foot back into a downward dog. And again, inhale, toes up, exhale, one heel down, inhale up, exhale, other heel down. Good. Look to the top of the mat, walk your feet forward. into a forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold, all the way up to a mountain overhead. Come on down again to forward fold, half lift. Come on down, hands to the mat, left foot back into the lunge, drop your knee. So this is a lizard pose when you have your hands inside of your knees, or your knee in this case. So then inhale, hips back, exhale, hips forward. Good. Inhale up. And again, be gentle, especially in the morning, because your muscles are not warmed up, your tendons are not warmed up. And basically, you are truly just, you're not really warming them up. It's not like putting them in a microwave. You are getting your nervous system firing. Wow, a lot of things are going on. Inhale back and exhale forward. Good. Hands on the mat, bring your right foot back, come back into downward dog. Now we're going to do that whole thing over again. Just keep working. Kind of starting to combine some traditional sequences just to keep things interesting. Good. Look at the top of the mat. Walk your feet forward. Hobble forward. Half lift. Forward fold. All the way up. And all the way down to a swan dive down. Look graceful. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. And this time we're going to come back into the right foot coming down. And this time just have your right hand on the mat. And we're going to do the lizard twist. So you can have your hand, left hand on your knee, if that is where it works today. The goal is going to be to inhale, bring your hips back, and then exhale, bring your hips forward and look up as you bring your left shoulder. Now, if you want to bring your left hand up into the air and twist, that's good. So then inhale, everything relaxes. And exhale, everything twists. One more. Good. Bring the hand down, left foot back into the downward dog. Oh, I'm feeling warmed up now. Probably just smush the microphone there. Let's make sure it's still on. Excuse me a moment to stay in your downward dog. Yes, it's still on. I did that last week. Shooting some videos with a friend. And the mic was off for the rest of the day. It was sad. All right, now bring yourself forward into a forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Forward fold and all the way up to mountain. Last time we do this, come on down. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, left foot back in the lunge, drop your knee. Left hand is now on the floor. And you can put your right hand on your right knee. And inhale, bring your hips back. Exhale, rotate. Bring your arm up if you can. Just keep doing what you can. No need to force anything. Just roll. And one more time. Good. And now bring your hand back. Push yourself into a downward dog. And here we go. All right, so now we're going to come into our warrior sequence. We're going to do things a little differently. Not much, but I'm going to focus on the warrior one, do a quick warrior two into reverse warrior, then get into the side angle so we can do some twisties. Good. All right. Inhale, bring your right foot up into the air, bring it forward, drop your back heel, and yes, here we are, warrior one. And in warrior one, we are trying to create, we're focusing on warrior one because we got some twisting in our hips, we have some twisting in our core, and we're trying really hard to create a back bend. All right, so here are the things to check. Front knee roughly over your front ankle. Back leg straight with a little bit of softness in your back leg. And inhale, and then you're exhaling to try to get your shoulders and I'm going to back off a little bit. Shoulders and hips rotating forward. Arms are up, or if you need to, hands can be at your hips. And just keep just rotating. That's it. Just open and stretch. Sometimes you got to straighten out your back leg. Let's get a nice rotation in your torso. That's it. Just keep rotating like that. Reach up. One more time. Good. Now, you're going to inhale, come up, and exhale, rotate to a warrior two, just for a moment. Now we're going to inhale and exhale into reverse warrior. So bring your left hand down to your thigh or behind your back, and bring your right hand up into the air. All right, so you've got some options here. With your head, you can look up at your right hand, but just like we were doing with the side bend when we started, we're trying to reach your right hand up and back and open up your right side body. So the inhale is kind of lifting your torso up, and your exhale is kind of leaning back. Good. Let's do one more. Okay, now we're going to come into a full side angle, so it's going to be a little bit different than we often do. So you're going to rotate, not even rotate, you're going to tip your torso over. Keep your front knee straight, but now we're going to try to bring your right hand down so that your elbow is inside of your knee, and then lift up your left hand as if you were trying to hug a big tree. So then the inhale is relaxing, the exhaling is opening up. So you've got a lot of potential for the exhale. You can try to drop your right hand. You can try to bring your left shoulder back. You can bring your torso down. So this should be a movement where you're doing a lot of movement. Inhale and exhale. Two more breaths. To open up the tree. Good. All right. Then inhale. Bring your hands down to the mat. Around your right foot. Push back to a downward dog. Inhale it heels down, or exhale heels down if you want. Find your breathing back into your belly. Good. Then we're going to inhale, lift your left foot up, left foot forward, and drop your back heel. And we're coming into a warrior one on this side. All right, front knee check, back leg check. If you can mostly straighten it, you don't want to lock it out. You want to straighten it so that it's has just a little softness in the knee, because that helps keep your hip rotating. And inhale and exhale. So now again, you're looking to get your hips and shoulders rotating forward. Again, mostly you're trying to rotate your shoulders, because you rotate your shoulders, your hips will come with them. All right, now we're going to rotate to a warrior two and exhale. Good. And then we're going to inhale. And as you exhale, drop your back hand, lift your left hand up. Good. And again, just like again in the beginning, you're trying to inhale and then lift your left hand up and back as you open up your left side body. So you're trying to breathe into your left side and then exhale, let it open. Good. Now we're going to bring the inhale, come down to a side angle. So bring your left hand down and right hand up. Inhale and then exhale. Try to bring your left hand down or your right shoulder and arm up. Torso, lean forward. There's so much you can do in this pose. It's so hard. There's so many great missing, moving pieces, not missing pieces. Good. Now we're going to inhale, rotate your hands back to downward dog. Or, well, that's where you end up. Good. That was good. All right, now we're just going to bring our knees down, come into a seated position. And what I need you to do is just to get into your usual cross-legged position. And we're going to inhale, your torso as high as it'll go. Then exhale, lean forward and quite literally walk your fingers forward. Then inhale, come back. Exhale, forward. You will feel this in a lot of places, maybe in your lower back, maybe in your left hip, maybe in your knees. one more breath here. All right, now come back. Switch legs. So now, whichever leg was in front, put it in the back. And we're going to do the same thing. Inhale up with your torso, and then exhale, lean forward. And again, you're going to feel different things on this side. One more breath. Good. Let's come on back. All right. Let's come into our final thing. Final pose and sequence. Find your breathing down into your belly. Hands at your side. On your next inhale, bring your arms up overhead. And then back down into heart center. And then we'll do that 2 more times. And we do this every class, or I do this every class. And we do this together to collect our energy. And I don't mean that in a weird way, but metaphorical way, like we're collecting all the good things and reminding ourselves that you just did some good work for yourself, and then bringing it into ourselves so that we could spread it to others. Inhale. Thank you for joining us today. Namaste. All right. Nice work. If you have questions, please, simpleendurancecoaching.com or Paul W. at simpleendurancecoaching.com. That's easy for me to say. Come check out other yoga, come check out other strength training and coaching ideas for you. Have an amazing day. Take care of yourself.